nothing. They just throw some shit out there and you take it and you just do it to yourself, right? What book is this? It's called Words. It's called Somebody's Been Lying. Words Are Spells and Curses. It's available on Amazon. Peace to you as well, by the way, kinfolk. All right. Remember, God will not permit him regarding the devil so to deceive his own regarding the children of the Most High, but only such as willfully deceive themselves. Right. So y'all blame shit on God, but God already told you, you got to be willing to be deceived. And if you really think about your life, most of the times where you've been deceived, you've had a feeling in your gut that told you don't fall for this, and you do it anyway. Every time you got cheated on, every time you got lied to, every time you got played, if you ever been robbed, if anything has ever happened that you didn't really care for, other than when you were a child, right? You had a feeling. Something was telling you, wait, this isn't adding up. You didn't listen to your gut, right? Because the Most High resides in you. You didn't listen to yourself, so that means you didn't listen to God, and you went with it, and things went awry. Or is that the word? Things went wrong, y'all, because you didn't listen. So you willfully deceived yourself, right? You dodge red flags, you do all that stuff. Acquiesce shall remain a dominant curse that we must always be aware of. Acquiesce, remain at rest, all right? Become quiet, right? Be satisfied with, be content, right? So you acquiesce, you become satisfied with things and content with it. But look, satisfaction, silent consent, passive assent, right? Acquiesce, to dispose to yield, submissive, right? Y'all argue every day about submission. I go to lives every day where they be like, what is submission? Nobody, like, nobody wants to be submissive, but y'all are submissive to the government. You won't be submissive to your loved ones. You won't. And this is for men and women, because submission is a situational thing. It's not like one person's job, right? But if you decide to submit, why is it that you submit to the government? You'll go to work and submit to your job, but then you'll come home and y'all will argue with each other. And your significant other asks you for less things than your job asks you for. But you'll argue with your wife or your husband about little around the house things, but you'll go to work and do everything your manager tells you to do, and you don't even like your manager, and your manager don't even like you, but you'll question them less than you'll question your loved one. Think about it. Shit is backwards, right? We know that everything is energy, and we now see that their goal is to put us in a position of rest or resting energy, right? Because remember, acquiesce, remain at rest, right? Rest in energy. They want our divine energy to be at rest until they are able to manipulate it and use it for their benefit, right? Just like how water goes through a dam, right? They have found a way to manipulate our emotions, E plus motion, energy, and motion, right? We know that, right? To allow them to control our divine energy. They in turn use this energy in order to power up their unrighteous game plans. The easiest way to make this possible is to take you from the time of infancy and begin to educate you under the mindset of being a great ward and a tamed monster. A great ward and a tamed monster. Because remember, human being is a monster, right? Those with eyes to see and ears to hear will no longer accept the role forced upon them. The days of submission must come to an immediate end, unless, of course, you're satisfied, right? So I'm not talking to y'all that are satisfied. If y'all are satisfied with this foolishness, do your thing. But this, I'm talking to the people with the eyes to see and the ears to hear. It's time to wake up. Everything that's happening in the world right now is the Most High, divine universe, whatever you want to call it, giving you the opportunity to stand up for yourself and let all this shit go. You watch it crumble while you build up anew, right? Now that we realize these human beings see both us and our parents as minors, it is important to know that they also see themselves filling those positions. They have created a system to where they are your father, mother, big brother, and your uncle, right? We know this. What is a father? Father. They have found a way to manipulate and control time. They have done this all while praising Chronos or Father Time. Their manipulation and control of time is what keeps you away from your children and allows them the time to educate them. This happens while you spend the vast majority of your time working, stressing, paying bills, right? Who's Big Brother? Big Brother is the hidden hand, right? Big Brother's always watching. You know what I'm saying? Go back and see the information about the boule that we just covered. All right. So in an earlier chapter, we cover the boule, right? Boule means it comes from bully, right? Big brother, right? Broder. You know, it's all in the words, y'all. It's all in the words. You just have to start reading, right? Uncle is Uncle Sam, right? We save mother for last because the first shall be last and the last shall be first. The concept of education leads us directly into a divine truth that is sitting directly in front of all of our faces. These sorcerers have mastered the ability of taking something that was naturally divine and flipping it upside down. Okay? Flipping it upside down. That's what they done with everything. They flipped it upside down. They take the thing that we once gave righteous empowerment, they reverse it, and then they return it to us in order to control us. The power behind this method is, right? We know that that's what they're doing, right? The power behind this method is the fact that we will resonate with parts of the concept because part of it is our own, but we will acquiesce to the added negative connotations, right? So what they do is they take our truth, right? They flip it, change it, reverse it, rearrange it, then they give it back to us. But they keep a little bit of what's right in there, right? So when they give it to us, we be like, yo, some of this shit ain't adding up, but some of it we get, right? Because we're spiritual. So some of it resonates with our souls, some don't, right? But we have so much shit going on that we'll just acquiesce because it's like, yo, I guess it's all right, right? Your mother and your father are your first teachers, and this is a divine truth that begins even before birth, right? The first university you attend is within your mother's womb. Every word, sound, song, frequency, emotion, and energy that they introduce you to while in the womb are part of your curriculum. These human beings despise the nurturing energy and love that healthy parents are able to provide to their heirs, and this is a divine truth that you must know, right? Study, y'all go study epigenetics, and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Mother, alma mater, right? Though we may know of alma mater to represent a school that one attended and graduated from, it is important to know that the meaning is deeper. This term truly represents divine mother, right? Right? Damn, my daughter done got to my stuff. She done messed my markers. All right, let's see. All right, so, oh shit. Divine mother, right? Divine mother goddess. Alma mater is divine mother goddesses, right? But we are all aware now of but as we are all aware now of is they have taken and twisted the divine, right? They have taken the divine mother goddesses energy and used it to lure you into a trap that feels safer than a mother's bosom, right? Alma mater comes from Latin alma mater, right, which means nourishing mother, right? So alma mater means nourishing mother. They have taken you away. They have taken you. Oh wait, shit. Sorry. They have taken away your birth mother's ability to nurture, teach, and nourish you, and have given it to the university. You rarely come across someone who will let you blatantly disrespect their mother, and that is now the reason why people would defend the lies that they have learned in their schoolhouses and universities, right? Think about it, y'all. If your mom taught you something and you go to the playground and somebody says your mom's lying, what you about to do? What you about to do if you go to the playground with some information your mom gave you and the children at the playground call your mom a liar? Say your mom don't know what she's talking about. I'm about to fight. Y'all not about to sit there and stand for that, right? So that's why when these people get these great educations, right, And then they come meet y'all critical thinkers, and y'all critical thinkers start asking them questions and questioning everything they learn in school. They be damn near ready to fight you. They be doxing you. You know what I'm saying? They be doxing you, putting your information on here. That's why all these things are happening. When y'all go to these lives and people got people's faces on the background and they doing all these crazy things, but it's all started about arguing over information. That's because they're defending their mother. They feel like they're defending their mother, right? These people won't listen to what their grandma said. They won't listen to any of that shit, but they will listen to what the school said, because the school is alma mater. They're nourishing mother now, right? But watch, I'm going to show y'all how deep it gets, right? The lies they have learned about life were given to them by their alma mater, right? Their mother goddess, their nourishing mother, right? And they will defend these lies with more steadfastness than nearly any other thing. Never bite the hand that feeds you, which leads to the spell that is put onto you once you graduate. All right. So I'm watch. These people put it all in your face, right? This is alma mater, right? This is a goddess, right? They took her, flipped her upside down, left and right. Then they gave her back to you to replace your parents. No, they didn't, Rashad. Prove it. I'll prove it right now. So when you graduate, you become an alumni, right? A pupil or graduate of a school, right? But what is alumnus? A pupil or a graduate of a school. Y'all see that? A foster son, a foster child, right? So in order to be a foster child, don't that mean you have to not be with your biological parents anymore? They call it a school house, right? They call it a school house. They take you from your parents. You become a foster child, and now you're in their system with alma mater, who's a nourishing mother. Father time, because you spend all your time there. Uncle Sam, because you get into hella debt. And Big Brother, who's always watching. That's why y'all go in there and y'all join these Greek fraternities, because y'all don't know what the hell y'all are doing. Y'all get branded on the arm and all this crazy shit for these fraternities, but that's Big Brother watching you. Ain't that even what they say when you join these things? Don't y'all call the older one Big Brother? Y'all be like, Big Brother Almighty. You know what I'm saying? They're letting you know what's happening, but you're so caught up in the game that you don't even know what's going on around you. You're so oblivious to what's happening right in front of your face. It's easier to hide it right in front of your face. I promise you. All right. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, right? Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, right? But you don't honor nobody. You honor the system, and we know what the system is, right? We know what the system is. That's why you got black boxes all around the world. That's why you got these people doing these things. 400, did y'all know 460,000 children? Hold on, they got me doing this thing. Did y'all know 460,000 children go missing a year in the United States? How? Like, what can y'all? I can't even fathom that kind of number. I can't fathom that kind of number. But y'all know Saturn ate his children, right? Y'all know they worship Moloch. That's why they give you MLK streets and boulevards, because MLK is the Phoenician word for Moloch, right? And then Martin Luther King said, he was quoted saying, I fear that I have integrated my people into a burning house, right? And then the ritual for Moloch is passing through the fire. Like, y'all better wake up. They have given us so many things to honor instead of our mothers and fathers, and wonder why we find ourselves in so much pain and strife. This pain is a direct result of our continuous miseducation. Some say that we must unlearn and relearn everything, but this is not the truth whatsoever. Everything that they have taught you will lead you back to your ancestors once you are able to maneuver through their lies and trickery, just as all things are broken down and lead to the original use or meaning, right? So were their stories. Never unlearn anything, but use clues in order to solve puzzles. Once you put these pieces together, you will become harder and harder to fool, and more capable of dealing with the ignorant. Don't unlearn nothing. You got to remember that shit, because they're going to try to pull the wool over your eyes again with the same lies. There's nothing new under the sun. So you're not unlearning it. You're just replacing it with the new wisdom, but you keep that shit in mind, because they're going to try it again. And there's going to be people you come across that are going to try to rock you back to sleep with foolishness, right? So remember everything, so that when you see it coming, you see that shit coming from a mile away. Know thine enemy like the back of thine own hand. Everything worth learning is provided naturally to us by the universe, by the Most High, but they have tricked us into believing the divine truths of the universe await us within the confines of a schoolhouse. Within these unconsecrated and cursed walls, you accumulate some of the highest debt amounts you will ever see at one time, okay? Other than car purchases and mortgages being cursed, as well as car purchases being full of deceit, right? So mortgages and car purchases and school, that's the biggest debts that we accumulate in one time. And all of that is foolishness. All of that is trickery, right? Underhandedness. As we spoke about in my previous work, debt is the equivalent of sin. And the more debt you accrue, the more sin you commit. Sin leads to hell just as well as debt. Debtor's hell. And the intensity of hell is measured by degrees. The intensity of your hell is measured by degrees given to you by your master and your nourishing mother. You as the alumnus or foster child, right? Y'all see what's going on here, right? They're playing with you right in front of your face. What is a graduate? All right. One who holds a degree. These are the degrees. These are the degrees. We know this stuff, right? Originally with man as a standalone noun from mid 15th century, right? To take a degree. Figuratively, a step forward in something. A degree of something rising by stages. All right. All right. A step climbed on a ladder or stair. Okay. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. As above, so below. And just like there is an allegorical stairway to heaven, you can now recognize the stairway to hell, right? There's a stairway to heaven, so there has to be a stairway to hell, right? As above, so below. This climb is just gradual enough that you don't even recognize the depths that you have traversed throughout the years. You have graduated, and due to your superb attendance, you have met the master and the doctorate, right? Your next step following these meetings will be to honor your student loans. Let's break down what this truly means, starting off with the etymology, right? So we're gonna break down the etymology, because these people put this shit right in front of your face, and you think that oh, I just want to make my mama proud. But which mama are you really making proud? Oh, I just want to make my daddy proud. Which daddy are you really making proud? Who is your daddy? Who is your mama? You know what I'm saying? I think along the way, right? Attendance is the act of attending to one's duties, right? Now listen, I'm telling y'all, they done turned themselves into the gods. You turned your back on the Most High, and they turned themselves into gods and turned you into monsters. And they put it in everything that has to do with anything that they say is important, right? Attention, wait, hope, expectation, right? Hope, the meaning, action of waiting on someone to dance attendance on someone is from the 1560s, right? That of action of being present, presenting oneself, right? Taken apart, right? Number of persons present, etc., 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 right? But remember these words, right? I'm not pointing out certain keywords for no reason. All right. So we got attendance, right? Because you attend school, right? Isn't one of the key elements of school attendance? Am I right or am I wrong? Like your parents could go to jail based on your attendance, right? Master. Everybody wants a master's degree. What is a master? All right. Having control and authority. A teacher, tutor of children, right? A chief. All right. A chief. Okay. Y'all see that? In the broadest sense, one who has power to control, right? At will. One who employs another or others in his service. All right. I'm telling y'all, man, this shit is not what y'all think it is. Owner, right? Owner of a living creature, in ancient context, a slave, paired with slave in legal language, all right? Doctorate, right? Because after you get your master's, you try to get your doctor's degree, right? The degree of a doctor, right? That's what you get to. But look, watch this. A doctor, a religious teacher, huh? A church father. Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all the school was a church, didn't I? And y'all don't. I'm telling y'all, it is. The school is a church, right? It's a church father, a religious teacher. What does this have to do anything with what's going on? A doctor. Huh? Now, what is a student? A studious person, one who pursues knowledge. Student, scholar, one who is studying, blah, 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 to study, right? But we don't want to pursue knowledge. We're trying to pursue wisdom, right? We attain knowledge, but we really in the pursuit of wisdom, right? Because wisdom is what really matters. All right. A loan, that which is lent or owning a thing furnished on promise of future return, right? A gift or reward from a superior, right? A gift of God, right? A gift of God, right? Now, what do y'all have to pay back when y'all graduate? What do y'all be paying back when y'all graduate? I'm telling you, school is a church, right? Graduate is gradual steps. Your degrees is your degrees of hell, right? Your doctor is a church father. Your master is the master of slaves, right? A chief, having control and authority. Your attendance is hope. I don't know if y'all keeping up. I hope y'all are, right? Do y'all see what's happening here? This is all in y'all little school words. This is all in the words that they talk to y'all about pertaining to school. There's a lot to unpack here, but many of you have already caught on as you read through the etymology of these words. All right, we're about to break it down. As you attend the different classes throughout your life, you are expressing your hope, right? Hope in the system, the devil, presenting yourself as a faithful ward, right? Because you're presenting yourself, attendance, presenting yourself as a faithful ward under the tutelage of your government, right? Your hope and faith ultimately lead to gifts from God, right? So your attendance, your hope leads to gifts from God, right? That would be what? Right? Bestowed upon you as you pursue their form of knowledge, right? These gifts allow you to further your attendance and strengthen hope as you await the opportunity to add to your degrees, right? The hope, the gift is the student loan, right? Right? Remember, a gift of God, right? Right? Okay? This- These gifts allow you to further your attendance, strengthen hope as you await the opportunity to add to your degrees. Finally, after many years, your faith has brought you face to face with the Master. You have made strides in your education while growing more and more into the monster that they had always hoped for. This graduation in degrees has allowed you to earn a possession, right? You are now formally connected and bound with he who is greater, bound to the man who has control over the degrees of hell. This faithfulness grants you one more meeting, and that is with the Father of the church. Not soon after you make this climb, which is truly a descent, right? Because we know that when you think you're going north, what is north really? North really means below. North means hell. So when in your confused, disoriented mind, when you think you're going north, north means hell. North means below, right? So when you think you're going up, like, oh, I'm making my way up, I'm graduating, I'm climbing up this ladder, to the top of the hill. North means hell, right? This faithfulness grants you one more meaning. All right, that's what the church father, right? Not soon after you make this climb, which is truly a descent, you are now held to your side of the bargain. Your deal with the devil must now be repaid, and you realize that those gifts were from a chief who is an Indian giver, right? Hey, look, do y'all see what's going on here? The gifts were from a chief who's an Indian giver, right? Y'all remember? We highlighted these words for a reason, right? We highlighted these specific words. I told y'all pay attention to the words that we highlighted because it all adds up to what they're doing to you. Hell is on average 38,000 debt notes below your bank, right? And that's a far climb for the fallen gods. Despite the depths that you now find yourself in, you are still able to acquire earthly pleasure through achieving and maintaining good credit, right? Just like the concept of credit in school, this credit allows you to make progress a reality, all right? For anybody that's getting in here, we're reading out of my book. It's titled Somebody's Been Lying, Words or Spells and Curses. It's available on Amazon right now. Somebody's Been Lying, Words or Spells and Curses. It's available on Amazon right now. Screenshot it. Get your copy, y'all. For sure, Jay. All right, look. So what is credit, right? Because everybody talks about credit. Everybody tells you how important credit is, credit this, credit that, right? But what is credit, right? Belief, faith, right? Belief and faith. I don't care what that other shit says. A loan, right? But remember, we don't want loans because loans are gifts from a God. But who is this God? If debt is sin, right? If debt is sin, then who is the God that's giving you gifts that you have to pay back? Right? Yeah, JP, I did. Faith in your higher power, whether it be a righteous or unrighteous one, is always necessary for the believer. But with the proper credit, you will be able to bring honor back to your true family and to the Most High. It is necessary that you remember your place in this world, and your place is not to be a slave, lesser animal, or a monster. The etymological breakdown goes on to say the commercial sense of confidence in the ability and intention of a purchaser or borrower to make payment at some further time, right? Some placed at a person's disposal by a bank. The bank is a church as well. All right. One who or that which brings honor or reputation to, meaning honor, acknowledgement of merit, right? Look, these places are churches. All the church is not a church, right? I'm telling you. They also mention the following creditor, right? One to whom any return is due or payable, one to whom money is owed, right? If you're going to believe, it is first important that you remember who the Most High truly is. I will take this time to remind you that the Most High is not the author of confusion and that the system is built on confusion. With this divine wisdom, it should be apparent that you need to take your power back, right? Is there any legal gurus in here? I know I got some legal gurus. I seen one in here earlier, like, right? Are you the creditor or are you the debtor? How did that shit go? All right, Psalms chapter 82, verse 1 through 8, right? God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judged among the gods, right? How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes, right? Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, we wrestle against principalities. That's Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of darkness. Darkness is a chaos. Chaos is what happens on earth. You feel me? That's the principalities. It is what it is, man. Y'all, as above, so below, man. The same way y'all are wrestling with the government, you're also wrestling with the planets, right? These planets. You're supposed to align yourself and be above all influence, right? Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Ye are gods, and these human beings should not have rulership over you or dominion over you, as though you were beasts of the field. I will give to the unknowing a gem of information for which I want nothing in return, but for you to spread the message. I have mentioned this divine truth before, but I find it necessary for us to revisit it at this specific time, right? Do y'all see what I said? I will gift to the unknowing a gem of information for which I want nothing in return. I don't want you to be in debt to me, right? We talked about this earlier. According to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, Article 14, right? Indigenous people have the right to establish and control their educational systems and institutions, providing education in their own languages in a manner appropriate to their cultural methods of teaching and learning. You don't have to send your children nowhere. You have always had the power that you've been searching to obtain. All you ever had to do was wake up and remember who you are. Everything that our young gods and goddesses learn should be administered through us, the originals. I respect that for some, their current situation would bring difficulty towards making such drastic changes. Let this possibility remain in your thoughts so that you may manifest the chance to make it a reality. If life has you in a position where you have to send your children to their schools, it is extremely important that you take time out of your day to further their true wisdom with your own teachings. It is important for the parents of the school children to be involved in their schooling. If your child attends one of their schools, you as a parent should be involved in everything that you possibly can. This means visiting your child's classes, maintaining great communication with the staff, joining the PTA, and taking advantage of all other options they have available for you to participate in. Nobody will ever care for your errors more than you, right? And what I say earlier, I said, yo, we see all these people that live in these communities that we're in that are stay-at-home parents that love children, they're great with children, they have clean houses, they're clean people. We should all get together and pay them to open homeschools. And then we could just deal with our own people. We could deal with the common people. We don't have to deal with this wickedness. Come out of her, my people. The following pages will provide more in-depth information on the laws requirements of each state. I suggest that you also visit the web pages that will be cited in order to get further details. It is my deepest desire that we are all able to achieve a level of teaching our children the truth that can catapult us into this awakening in our proper position. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Albert Einstein. All right. So anybody that has the book, once you read the chapter on education, right? I have all 50 states. I have put in the information you need in order to homeschool your children, right? So all you got to do is read the chapter on education, remind yourself why you don't want them in that system, and then you turn the page to 140, and then that's where it starts. It's in ABC order, and you can go and you can look and see what your state requires. These are the laws and the codes for every state, right? We got it in there. And then I added the website at the bottom so you can go get further information, because I didn't want to take everything from the website and get sued. You feel me? But I gave y'all the basics. And when you really look into it, it's really not that hard. Each state is not that difficult, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is in my book, Somebody's Been Lying, Words or Spells and Curses. It's available on Amazon. When I was writing this book, I told my brother and my sister, I was like, yeah, I'm writing a book. They know how I feel about history. They said, make sure you make it something that people could utilize today. So instead of me just talking completely about history and etymology, I made sure that I implemented things that we can learn today. That's why I talk about the law. That's why I talk about wisdom and how we need to get back to the medicines of the earth. That's why I talked about the education system, what they did to us. But the thing is, I had to talk about what they did to us to make it more important for you to realize what you need to do to reverse it, right? If you don't know the problem, it's harder for you to find the solution. If you don't know there is a problem, you'll never look for the solution because you think everything is right. So I talked about problems and I talked about solutions. I talked about problems and I talked about solutions that we can do today to make everything change overnight, y'all. The only thing we have to do is come together as the people. We the people, y'all remember it. They taught us this shit in school. They said we the people in order to form a more perfect union, right? Who are we the people? It's us. We got the power. You know what I'm saying? We just forgot who we were, right? We forgot who we were and we gave them the power, right? And they did it. I showed y'all in this chapter how they turned themselves into gods. You know what I'm saying? How they turned themselves into gods and deities, and they turned you into a human being, which is a lesser animal, right? Which is a lower animal. Okay? That's what I showed y'all. All right. I talk about contract law. You know what I'm saying? Just to make, I just wanted to make this something we could always use, right? Watch. I'll be having a lot of tabs open, y'all. I'll be something new every day, trying to learn something new every day. So when you got a problem with your government, right? What do? You sign a petition, right? Right? After you vote, when you got a problem, what do? You sign a petition, right? Thank you, Isis. I appreciate it. Look, what is a petition? A petition is a supplication or prayer, especially to a deity. So if you're signing petitions to your government, what are you calling them? And what are you making? Supplications and prayers? What? Oh, okay. So when you want to get these people in the office, then what do? You vote, right? A vote is a vow, wish, promise to a god, right? So you're voting, you're petitioning, and all these things are turning them into gods and deities. What is a vow? A vow, right? A solemn agreement to devote oneself to a religious order or life, right? A solemn promise, usually to a god or a saint, to do something or make a change, right? Typically an expectation of reward, right? A promise to a god, a solemn pledge, dedication, that which is promised, a wish, desire, longing, prayer, pledge, dedicate, vote, or vow, right? They're letting you know who they turn themselves into. When they met y'all were the gods and goddesses. This was when they met y'all were the gods and goddesses. All right. Y'all were the guys and goddesses, and they were human beings, right? So in order for them to switch it up, they had to turn y'all into human beings, and they had to make you turn them into gods, right? And they did it through the words. Somebody's been lying, words are spells and curses, right? And then when you try to talk about etymology to people, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? Because they say it to me all the time. Oh, Rashad, it ain't that serious. And I try to tell them, I promise you it is. I promise you it's that serious. Right? What do they say? You want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. Right? And it's easy to read a book. Have you ever read a dictionary? Go read a dictionary. That shit got like 5,000 pages. According to James A. Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary, a human being, C, S-E-E, not a S-E-A, but C, monster, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. A monster hath no inheritable blood and cannot be heir to any land, albeit it be brought forth in marriage. But although it hath a deformity in any part of its body, yet if it hath human shape, it may be heir. All right? These damn monsters, right? So they came here, they found gods and goddesses, right? They went to all these different lands in the world and found gods and goddesses. And they couldn't inherit no land. So what they had to do was they had to marry into your family, kidnap your children. They had to turn you into wards. They had to turn you into lesser animals. They had to make you believe that they are what you were, right? And that's a god or a goddess, right? That's what they did. Okay. I just showed y'all the definition. I showed y'all what's happening. These people switched places with you, right? It is what it is. And now you're a ward, right? But they put it, what do they say? The devil will never show up looking like the devil, right? So the word ward, right, means you're under the tutelage of the government, you're a minority, and all these different things, but the devil's not going to show up as the devil. So instead of the devil showing up calling you a ward, the devil shows up and calls you a citizen. But a citizen is the same thing as a ward. Exactly. Trading places. That's all that happened. That's all that happened, y'all. Let me see. Let's see. I think that. So we said education is a training of animals, right? Man, come on, y'all. Right? I'm gonna show y'all again before I get off here. Education, training of animals. When you go to college, what do you sleep in? You sleep in a dorm, right? A dormitory, right? Listen close, people. Thank you for the gift, y'all. Education's the training of animals. When you go to a school, you sleep in a dorm, a dormitory, right? A barn. Come on, man. Come on, man. But there's still people out here that'll say I'm lying. There's still people out here that'll say I'm lying. It is what it is, y'all. Hey, tap the screen. Well, I'm about to get off here, but follow me, y'all. Follow me. We go live, you know, we break this shit down. We just talked about the education system. All right, we just looked up the education system. I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about next. We might talk about hidden archaeology or something like that. Who knows? We're gonna get into it, but I go live as much as I can. It's usually from like 1 o'clock to 2:40, 2:45. Uh, Ens legis is a Latin phrase that means a creature of the law or an artificial being. Yeah, so we can we can get into that one time too. I don't got the time right now, but we could get into the artificial beings. We can get into how you went from calling your house a home to calling it a residence, and a residence is a place where a corporation does business. So who is the corporation doing business in your house? Oh, you're the corporation because you're a corpse, you're a dead body. You got to operate as a corporation so you can deal with this corporation, because corporations deal with each other. Living beings deal with each other. So instead of you being living, you had to be a corporation so that you could deal with the government corporation. All right. So that's why your house went from a house and a home to a residence. Because they lied. They lied to you, okay, about everything. You're an artificial person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. There ain't. I don't have nothing to lie about, y'all. I want us all to be free. All right. So follow me. We're gonna go live probably tomorrow. Maybe tonight. I appreciate all the support, y'all, and the gifts and everything. It's all by design, y'all. Just wake up, you know. But yeah, follow me. Let's go. Your all caps name is a company created by them. Exactly. All caps corporation. Your mom didn't name you all caps. Your mom named you with a capital whatever, and then proper writing of the rest of your name. But let me